I think the biggest advantage of being a content creator is that you get first-hand feedback from your audience. When you try to force being funny, it's like trying to force a fart.
Do you feel, Anmol, that you've achieved or reached where you wanted to be 10 years down the line?
There's a lot more I wanted to and I still want to achieve. There are a lot of mass unfollows that happen when sometimes you voice opinions about something. If you don't like content, you scroll past it or you say I didn't like this video. You do not get personal. Starting में जब ये सब होता था ना, I would get so affected. It would be difficult for me to post again. Kriti, you are better than Anmol, and हम लोग उसमें fun banter होता है हमारा, and she enjoys that. So I think for me, I'm very blessed that I don't have to convince her. I've seen this famous backdrop, this sofa, and I'm like, अब मेरे को भी आना है. There was the Viral Fever or AIB. ये दो channels थे who were like the OGs, the pioneers, and I would bombard them with messages every day that guys, I want to work with you all. And finally TVF gave in and they called me to their office. मतलब editor भी मैं, writer भी मैं, spot दादा भी मैं, and I enjoyed that. So that is something that made me fall in love with digital content creation or content creation.
You might know him as a relatable comedy creator, but there is more to him than his reels. He has been part of industry for over 10 years, and with his wit, he has managed to carve a name for himself. This is Mrinil Mathur Rajwani, and join me as I catch up with Anmol Sachar. Hi Anmol, welcome to Social Catch Up.
Thank you, Mrinil. Thank you for having me.
We've been connected for so many years now, and it's fine. We've met outside.
In
But
bits and pieces.
In bits and pieces. You've been a cheerleader for Social Ketchup in your capacity. But it's so glad that I get the chance to speak to you, pick your brain, understand about all things content from your lens.
I'm excited. I'm super excited to be here. I have been waiting to come here. I've seen this famous backdrop, this sofa, and I'm like, अब मेरे को भी आना है.
हाँ, मेरा येलो सोफा famous होता जा रहा है.
True. So I'm very excited, yaar.
Great. So before we catch up about all things content, I want to understand, you've been creating content from, like you mentioned, 10 years now. But what is your earliest memory of entertaining people, of making people laugh?
I was always fond of this. I was fond of entertaining people, of acting per se a lot. So in school, all the drama competitions and all, I would really look forward to them. And even elocutions, debates, poetry, all of that was something I'd really enjoy. And surprisingly, by the time I was just passing out from my 10th grade, I was pretty clear that I wanted to get into filmmaking because since a very young age, I've consumed a lot of movies, a lot of cinema, and I really fell in love with filmmaking. So that's how it. I know I'm digressing from the question a bit, but so the earliest memories, school days, and ever since the 10th grade, I was aware that, I want to get into filmmaking. And then, should I continue or should
Yes, please.
So then I studied my mass media. I did my filmmaking course in my 11th and 12th. And मेरे को तभी तो ऐसा ही था कि filmmaker बनना है. So I thought, ठीक है, I've done my studies, I have the skills, I'll do it. But then when I actually went out in the real world and I started meeting people to assist and to get some on the set experience, I realized that it's way, way more difficult than we even know. In the sense that if you don't have contacts, if you don't have the right connects, it's really difficult. मुझे आज भी याद है that there was this time that after a lot of meeting a lot of directors, production houses, this is after my graduation, I secured a gig or a job for a clapper in a movie. Dishum जो movie थी वरुण धवन और जॉन अब्राहम की, उसमें I was supposed to be the clapper before every scene जो clapper होता है. And last minute पे even that was taken away. Like I got to know कि नहीं, someone else is doing it. So that was like a turning point for me. मुझे लगा कि यार maybe it's wiser to take things into your own hands. और तभी internet boom भी हो रहा था. And that's how I moved towards content creation.
And who was your first audience in the sense that this is what my first content was like and this is what it was targeted to, or kind of something that you know that clicked for you, that made you confident that हाँ ये बात सही चल रहा है मेरा.
Uh, See, my target, again, it's a little longish answer. I'm going to
It's
bore you.
okay. We have all the time in world.
But my target was anyone and everyone who wanted to smile. I never considered myself as a comedian or as someone who's very funny. I don't believe I'm funny. I just tell stories which are relatable to people. And my objective till date and ever since I started has been to spread smiles one video at a time. Now, the reason I got into creating this genre of content is because I have a history of 12 plus years of battling depression, anxiety, OCD, and I was in a very very dark place. और उस समय पे मैं I would find momentary respite in watching these foreign YouTubers, रे विलियम जॉनसन, की एन पील, ये सबको देखता था कि उस टाइम पे इंडिया में तो कोई सीन था नहीं. दिस इज 2013-14. And when I would watch their videos, consume their content, even though I was in the darkest place, for those few moments, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, or 6 seconds of those vines that we had, I would forget my problems for those precious few moments, and that feeling was priceless. फिर जब when I started getting better, जब मुझे लगा कि I'm getting mentally in a better space. Of course, it was not these videos that got me into a better space. There was a lot of therapy, there was a lot of exercise, there was a lot of things that went into it. But when I felt confident that I'm in a little better place, and I anyway wanted to get into content creation and filmmaking, as we discussed, I picked up this genre, relatable comedy, because that's the way I feel I can make maximum people smile. So my target audience was anyone and everyone who needed a good smile in their life. Um, so that was my target audience. So I started with uh, taking inspiration from the creators that I was watching. I started with just taking inspiration from my own life incidents, life episodes, and just putting it out there. And of course, uh, there was so many videos that wouldn't reach a big audience, but for me, uh, जितने लोगों तक पहुंच रहा था, I was happy at that time, because at that time genuinely I didn't know what the future holds. I उस टाइम पे इंडिया में तो this wasn't a full time career. No one thought कि ये career हो सकता है. So things have really changed that way. तो उस टाइम पे my first video that really really got me a major chunk of my audience, or my first viral moment, or the time I blew up, was one of my videos on YouTube called Kahani Mard Mard Ki. It was a light take about two guys in a sharing cab, and there's a female passenger who joins in, and how both of them uh, exaggerate to no end, and want to impress her, and there's a twist. And so that's something that really the audience has really enjoyed and got me a lot of numbers per se. उसके पहले भी I was slowly and steadily building a community. लोग जुड़ रहे थे. I was enjoying. Uh, I was just enjoying the feeling of spreading smiles, and that's what till date keeps me going here. वैसा है.
That's I think very nice. Like, how do I put it? Like, it's a good motivation to create content in that sense.
I think that's what keeps me going on the days when your numbers don't come up to the point where you expect them to, or where brands expect them to, or where your audience also expects them to. But when your motivation is clear, I think that's what keeps you going, spreading smiles one video at a time.
But do you feel like this is jumping way ahead in the conversation, but do you feel that burden of numbers? Because
Yes, there is a burden. I would be lying if I say there isn't, because at the end of the day, to continue following my passion as my full-time career, I need to pay bills. And to pay bills, I need numbers, because only then do brands work with you. So I'm also very glad that the brand landscape is also changing, in the sense that brand managers are looking beyond only numbers, in terms of
they're
only
evolving.
views, only likes. They look at the connect the creator has with the community, how much the community values what the creator is saying. So I think those aspects which are not tangible in terms of numbers are also being looked at, and I think that's a very welcome change. So that's there, but yeah, numbers do bring a burden, and you one has to keep evolving and trying different things to get the numbers.
And I know, like I mentioned, I jumped in way ahead in the conversation. So coming a little back,
Sure.
we were discussing about you create why you your audience and why you created content. But this is something I keep asking every relatable content creator also and or a comedy creator that how were you as a kid? Was being funny a part of you as a childhood trait, or this is something that you realize later, kind of?
Honestly, Mrinil, I have never been funny. I used to like performing, I used to like poetry, I used to like writing, but I have never been a funny person. And even today, जब कोई मुझे कमेंट करता है तुझे लगता है तू funny है, मैं बोलता हूँ नहीं, नहीं हूँ. This is not a hate comment for me. मुझे I know that, I'm aware of that. I'm not a funny person. मेरे साथ बैठ के ऐसे बात करनी है 2 घंटा, डीप टॉक्स करनी है, आई एम मोर देन हैप्पी. बट इफ यू टेल मी कि चलो लोगों को हंसाओ फैमिली गैदरिंग में, आई एम नॉट दैट फनी पर्सन. बट या आई कैन फाइंड वेज टू एंटरटेन पीपल और टू टेल स्टोरीज. तो बचपन में भी आई वॉज नॉट रियली the guy who would make people laugh, but I would tell stories, I would entertain people. वो था, funny नहीं था, entertaining था पहले से.
But so when you started creating this content as a full time thing, you mentioned that you wanted to be like wanted to do something in filmmaking. Where did that switch happen? Why didn't you pick that up as a full time career?
यार, two things, as I've been saying, the main thing was the barrier to entry, because control किसी और के हाथ में
मतलब
होता है.
clapper का
वो भी नहीं
हुआ.
मिला. I tried, and that also I had secured after a lot of like going to so many production houses, Aram Nagar में and Juhu में, and I went to so many production houses, met so many people. तब जाके वो मिला था और वो भी ले लिया. That was the tipping point जब मुझे लगा कि यार इतना कंट्रोल किसी और के हाथ में, एंड स्टिल थिंग्स आर नॉट टर्निंग आउट द वे दे शुड. सो तभी इंटरनेट बूम भी हो रहा था. Geo was coming in and there was a big boom of internet and everyone was having access to internet. और धीरे धीरे इंडिया में भी content creation आ रहा था बहुत धीरे धीरे. There was the Viral Fever और AIB. ये दो channels थे who were like the OGs, the pioneers. And I would bombard them with messages every day that guys, I want to work with you all. I want to work with you all. इतना परेशान किया है मैंने उन लोग को, इतना spam किया है. And finally TVF gave in and they called me to the office. They were just 12-13 people की जो कोर टीम थी वो थी, आराम नगर में उनकी ऑफिस थी. एंड दे सेड क्या हो गया भाई, व्हाई डू यू कीप बॉदरिंग अस. तो आई शोड देम अ फ्यू शॉर्ट फिल्म्स आई हैड मेड. आई स्पोक टू देम. दे सेड ठीक है, योर वर्क इज गुड, यू जॉइन अस एज एन इंटर्न, यू जॉइन अस, बट फिर सब करना पड़ेगा. सो उनके लिए मैं सबवे से सैंडविचेस लाता था, कॉफी लाता था. आई हैव डन ऑल ऑफ दैट, बट आई हैव ऑल्सो लर्नड much more than I learned during my filmmaking studies or my mass media studies. So जो मैंने वहाँ पे 6 महीने में सीखा, that was way more enriching and valuable than what I learned while actually studying. So the switch happened because of the barriers to entry, because it was very difficult to get into traditional filmmaking, and also because I saw the potential in the internet boom and content creation, which allowed me to don all the hats. मतलब editor भी मैं, writer भी मैं, spot दादा भी मैं, सब मैं ही. And I enjoyed that. मुझे acting करने भी मिल रही थी, मुझे editing करने भी मिल रही थी. So that is something that made me fall in love with digital content creation or content creation.
Do you think if you wouldn't have picked this up as a career, there was something else that you would be doing today?
If not content creation, it would more likely be something related. So अगर कंटेंट क्रिएशन नहीं होता तो मैं शायद फिल्म मेकिंग में ही कई धक्के खा रहा होता, या शायद इट वुड हैव वर्कड, आई डोंट नो. बट दैट, एंड इफ नॉट दैट, समथिंग रिलेटेड टू सोशल मीडिया, बिकॉज even today there are small brands that I consult. I give them strategies for social media. I also helped my dad bring out his content on social media, and is doing so well. So I know that I understand social media well, and I would have done something around social media for sure, like a social media social media marketer, social media consultant, or maybe a copywriter, I don't know, but something closely related and definitely something creative.
So do you have a discipline or anything mantra like that you follow for to maintain, because doing it for almost so many years, 10 plus years now, and being consistent with it needs something which is very rigid in rules. Do you have
Correct.
something like that for yourself?
Yes, I've been kind of very disciplined throughout. So that has really helped me, because especially when you're in a field like this, where there are not everything's not very structured, because तुम्हारा Monday to Friday 9 to 5 नहीं है. On Sunday also you're working, and there are a lot of Monday Tuesdays where you're just chilling. So when the structure is missing, discipline is important. So discipline uh, is something that has come naturally to me. So I'm blessed that way. And that is what has helped me keep going and be highly productive compared to if I was not disciplined. But it's also, having said that, flow में रहना या फ्लो के साथ जाना भी इम्पॉर्टेंट रहा है. सो वाइल देर इज डिसिप्लिन, वाइल देर इज अ शेड्यूल, वाइल आई ट्राई टू फिक्स कि मैं ये टाइम को ये करूंगा, ये टाइम को ये करूंगा, देर इज sometimes when you just have to go with the flow. If your brain is not braining, if your thoughts are not coming out, if your creative juices are not flowing, they're not going to flow. So at that time, instead of forcing it, it's better to go with the flow, take a break. I watch some more content, watch some movie, go out, get some coffee. So I just try to break the pattern, and then I see कि उसके बाद अपने आप thoughts start flowing, content ideas start coming in better when you go out, step out, basically get out of the room with my laptop. I just go and sit at a coffee shop and try and script there. So I do those things. So it's a mix of discipline and going with the flow.
So this is something I ask everyone, and I want to ask you as well, because I want to understand that there are days when you're not feeling funny, when there are days you don't want to put out anything. Do you give that liberty to yourself that, okay, I'm not funny, I'm not feeling funny, I'm not
Correct.
feeling confident, I'm not feeling happy right now, and it's okay if I don't do that today? Do you, because it's
Absolutely,
a you are your own boss, you're
Correct.
your own employee.
Correct. So, absolutely, yes, I give myself that liberty, because, when you try to force being funny, it's like trying to force a fart. It never ends up well. So,
I think the social media team got that thumbnail from here.
bus, तो sorted है. But no, so I don't try. I don't try to force myself to write content when I'm not feeling it. But when I'm feeling it, then I'll make sure that I batch write. I write like 5, 6 scripts, so that when I'm not, for the days when I'm not feeling up to it, I have content ready. I have that. So yeah.
And you have done vlogs, you've done sketches, you've
Yes.
done parodies. How do you decide which format works for you? What do you want to be seen as in general? Like we were discussing off cameras about the Get Ready With Me videos also. Where do you see that, okay, this is a format I would want to own, this is what I want to be known for?
I think the biggest advantage of being a content creator is that you get first hand feedback from your audience, क्योंकि there is no middleman. भी फिल्म लगती है तो बीच में इट गेट्स लॉस्ट इन द नॉइज, द फीडबैक. यहाँ पे मेरे कमेंट सेक्शन में, मेरे डीएम्स में, मेरे स्टोरी रिप्लाईज में आई गेट माई आंसर्स. आई अंडरस्टैंड कि ऑडियंस ये एंजॉय कर रही है कि नहीं. ऑफकोर्स द मेट्रिक्स ऑल्सो टेल यू, द व्यूज, द शेयर्स, द कॉमेंट्स, नंबर्स टेल यू, बट जो एक्चुअल फीडबैक होता है वो ऑडियंस से मिल जाता है, एंड दैट्स हाउ यू कम टू नो कि या दिस इज समथिंग द ऑडियंस इज एंजॉइंग. एंड द इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस आई ट्राई समथिंग ओनली बिकॉज आई फील लाइक इट. पहले मैं देखता हूँ कि मुझे मन कर रहा है, आई वॉन्ट टू गो बियॉन्ड जस्ट स्केच कॉमेडी, सो आई वेंट टू व्लॉग्स. आई वॉन्टेड टू हैव हार्ट टू हार्ट टॉक्स विथ माई ऑडियंस, बिकॉज as I said, I like talking. I'm not a funny person. So I created an entire series on YouTube called Anmol Talks, where I just talk about different topics. I shared about my body transformation, about, how I lost 30 kgs, or about how about my mental health journey, about my take on, whether exam marks are of paramount importance. So these are the kind of topics I spoke about, and the audience really loved them. So us case mein the views were not great, because these are videos that my audience didn't join me for, but there were a lot who stayed back for this. So uh, I experiment with content formats that I want to experiment with, which give me joy. And if the audience is enjoying it, it's a win-win for both. And I continue with the series, or I stop it. There are many things that I've tried and have not worked out, and I stop them. I modify them. I alter how I'm presenting them. And just it's all about getting the feedback from the audience.
So while we're talking about the formats, I know there are a couple of things that you do on your socials as well. You voice out, you put out your opinion, and I'm sure in the times we are, voicing out is not an easy thing. Like, but do you self police yourselves? There are multiple things to this question.
Yes.
Is like, a, do you self police? If you don't, then how does this impact you as a creator and as a human in a mental state? Because it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. It's a very interesting question. So I do self police myself because एक होता है freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean you use it irresponsibly. मतलब because at the end of the day we have a number of people who are connected to us and are influenced by what we say and what we do. So while I try to speak my heart out and take stands for what I think is wrong, I also make sure that I'm not just क्योंकि सब लोग आउटरीच कर रहे हैं मुझे भी ज्वाइन इन करना है वो नहीं. इफ आई डोंट बिलीव इन समथिंग आई विल नॉट speak up for it. If I believe in something, irrespective of getting hate, getting unfollows, I will speak up for it as long as I truly and wholly believe in something. So the policing comes in where you need to draw a line between, using freedom of speech versus misusing it. मतलब वो लाइन ड्रॉ करना इम्पोर्टेंट है. खाली बोलने के लिए, कुछ भी बोलने के लिए या लोगों को ट्रिगर करने के लिए, जस्ट टू रेज बेट, क्लिक बेट, ये सब करने के लिए आई विल नॉट. बट इफ आई बिलीव इन समथिंग आई विल स्पीक अप फॉर इट. नो, बिकॉज एवरी वॉइस डज मैटर. किसी के 20 फॉलोअर भी है तो भी वो आवाज़ मैटर करती है. अगर किसी के 2 लाख फॉलोअर है, 1 मिलियन फॉलोअर, इट्स ऑलवेज गोइंग टू मैटर. बट विद अ लार्जर ऑडियंस, एज स्पाइडरमैन में बोलते हैं कि ग्रेट पावर ब्रिंग्स ग्रेट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. सो द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी गोज अप. So before I want to voice my opinion about something and I'm feeling strongly about something also, I will make sure that I read up more about it. I'm 200% sure about what I'm saying. It resonates with me, and only then I voice my opinion about something. So that's how my process goes. And of course, every time you voice out something that's uh, trending or something that's controversial, there will be people who will question you. There will be people who will question you without any basis also. Constructive criticism, constructive feedback, questioning, debates, all up for it. But जो pointless hate होता है या बिना बात के गाली होती है, that is something then I use the block button. Powerful है. So I use that.
With how do you tackle with this? Because it gets overwhelmed. Like, even it took me years to be comfortable about writing. So like, I wrote something very recently after years because I felt like I really need to write something. It was how social media was acting a month ago, kind of
Correct.
thing. But in sense, it generally takes a mental toll as well, especially who is in a position like this, like someone like you who is there, and there are people who are going to question you. People are going to respond to you. There are going to be people who like you or don't like you, kind of. Don't you feel that, okay, is it worth my mental peace?
So over time, I've developed a lot more thicker skin, if you may call it. Starting में तो forget voicing opinions or taking stands, etc. Even for your own content, if people wouldn't enjoy it, there have been times when people have gone to the extent of abusing your family for no reason. Means if you don't like content, you scroll past it, or you say I didn't like this video. You do not get personal. So starting में जब ये सब होता था ना, I would get so affected. It would be difficult for me to post again. And that's when my family, my then girlfriend, now wife, all of them would support me. They would say कि it's okay, just keep going. You're doing what your heart tells you to do. Just keep doing it. The same goes for when I'm voicing opinions about something. People are going to say something irrespective. मतलब तुम चुप रहोगे तो भी लोग बोलेंगे तुम चुप क्यों हो. तुम बोलोगे तभी भी लोग बोलोगे. एटलीस्ट इफ आई एम सेइंग समथिंग दैट माई हार्ट बिलीव्स, इट मेक्स मी फील गुड. और जब ऐसे टाइप के कमेंट्स आते हैं विच मेक यू which are hateful, or there are a lot of mass unfollows that happen when sometimes you voice opinions about something. Is it worth it? I don't know, but will I continue doing it? Yes, because it makes me feel good. So in terms of a businessman, if I think, because at the end we are doing a business, content creation is a business. I don't know if it's the wisest thing to do, because there are brands who want to stay away from people who voice their opinions. There are people who want to unfollow you. So as a businessman, I don't know if it's the smartest thing, but as a human being, I cannot just keep quiet when I'm seeing something happening and I feel strongly about it. तो वैसा है.
I know we've discussed a lot about it, but I want to understand something. So you've been in industry for quite some time, and do you feel, Anmol, that you have achieved or reached where you wanted to be 10 years down the line, and got what you wanted from the career, like as a satisfaction from the career, or you feel that you have you still have things that are pending that you plan for for like a 10-year career in that same industry?
Um, I would say there's a lot more I wanted to and I still want to achieve. This is, honestly speaking, not even 50% of what I believe I can and what I pray that I will. So, but having said that, I'm very grateful for everything that I have achieved in terms of having such a strong community, of having, of being able to live my dream of being a full-time content creator as my career. So, there is not a feeling of lack, but there is a lot of hope. And I believe that in the coming few years, I will tick off a lot more things that are on my bucket list as a creator. Things like, I definitely want to be a part of a, uh series or a show. I want to act because, as I said, I've loved acting all my life. And while people know me as the person who creates over the top, exaggerated humor, relatable content, I also believe in my acting potential. I want to show that to my audiences. I want to see how they like it. There are a lot of other small things on my bucket list that I want to achieve. And while I've achieved a lot of them, there's a long way to go. And I'm very hopeful for the future.
Is there something in particular that you are aiming for in your career, that this is what I want to do?
So one was definitely, as I said, an acting gig, a good acting gig where I can, and ideally, which is not a comedy acting gig. It's something more serious, more nuanced. Apart from that, there are things like, of course, I want to grow my community bigger. Of course, I want to reach more people. Of course, I want to spread more smiles. Those are the broader things. But in terms of particular objectives, acting is one that comes to mind right now. I think that is one thing that I have to achieve, and I'm working towards it. So I will.
Okay. You want to be an actor, but you are a full-time content creator. And what is the misconception generally people have about you and as a full-time creator?
So I think content creation as a profession, very similar to Bollywood acting, is very glamorous on the outside. So people see the see people getting freebies, getting brands, getting travel, getting all of that. But what people tend to miss, anyone who's not been a part of this industry, or doesn't know someone closely in this industry, they tend to miss the uh, you know the years of work that goes into building a community and a brand for which brands want to associate with you. So when I'm getting a freebie, it's not because I'm making a reel that took me 5 hours to make. It's because of the years of hard work that went into building this community, uh, uh, over time, with a lot of trials, errors, failures, learning. So the misconception is that this is very easy. कैमरा चालू किया, लाइट लगा दी, वीडियो बना दिया, बस यही तो है, इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है, मतलब हम तो इतना मेहनत कर रहे हैं, हम पढ़ रहे हैं. मतलब हैट्स ऑफ टू पीपल हु आर डूइंग द ट्रेडिशनल work, traditional career paths as well, because of course that's a lot of hard work, but this is not less. And especially, it may not be physically as taxing, but mentally there are so many things that go on in this industry that really do take a toll on you, as we spoke about hate comments, about the pressure of getting views, getting those metrics, um, uh, getting the biggest challenge is getting a there's no predictability. So there will be months where you have absolutely no income. So are you okay with that? Are you able to sustain? Are you able to be hopeful that you will cover up in the coming months? So there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of um, uh,
Uncertainty is.
uncertainty. And I think that's something that's overlooked when people look at the fancy, the glamour, the events, the travel, all of that. So that's what gets very overlooked very often. And इट्स अंडरस्टैंडेबल बिकॉज बाहर से अगर मैं देखूंगा तो ये लगता है बहुत ग्लैमरस, सेलिब्रिटीज के साथ तुम मिल रहे हो, शूट्स कर रहे हो, एंड यू नो इट्स ऑल लुकिंग वेरी फैंसी वाइल इट्स वेरी गुड एंड आई enjoy every bit of it, but there is a lot of things that go on behind the scenes that people are not aware of, like I just mentioned.
So do you do you think that people are still creators are still there with the pressure to perform on social? As in the numbers, like we know that the brands have also evolved. Brands have also evolved in a sense that they get more. They also want more quality than the quantity kind of thing. But there are people who are still there, thriving there for numbers. They're thriving there to perform. That okay, now no, my reel should perform kind of thing. The reason I'm asking is that because every year a content creator industry is evolving, the people are understanding, the stakeholders are understanding, but we still have those same concerns that are existing. The industry saw like a lot of ups and downs this year. Very recently, a misfortune also happened, and unfortunate instance also happened. Basis a number kind of thing. So do you feel that हम आगे तो बढ़ रहे हैं बट हम वहाँ भी स्टक हैं?
Yes, I do feel that way. While as I'm saying that things are evolving, all the parties involved in this ecosystem are evolving, but yes, there's a long way to go, is what I feel. In terms of creators being obsessed with numbers, I feel there are these creators who are obsessed with numbers, but usually it's not going to last for too long, the obsession with numbers, because once the creator realizes that there will never it is never possible for you to always clock in those extremely great viewership. There will be periods when a piece of content that you created with all your heart and you believed deserved to get the best views will get the lowest views. That will happen with every single creator. So uh, there are creators who obsess with numbers, but sooner or later, I believe that they realize and that numbers is not everything, and that's how I look at it. Yeah.
Okay, we've spoken so much in depth and so many deep conversations
Heavy
we had.
topics, yeah.
बहुत heavy हो गया.
हाँ.
Coming back to you and your content, do you have that weird 2 a.m. kind of habits that okay नहीं मैं रात को जब नींद नहीं आती तो मैं अपने रील्स को देखती हूँ, because I love watching my reels. I am not a creator, but I do make some reels on with my family members, but I do end up watching and then realize that okay I'm doing good. That's my validation. Do you have that kind of weird anything for yourself?
Weird है कि नहीं पता नहीं, but most of the times मेरे को ज़्यादा आइडियाज रात को ही आते हैं जब नींद नहीं आ रही होती. So I make sure I send myself a voice note or a text and I note them down, क्योंकि next सुबह तक तो भूल ही जाना है. So that is one thing I do. I also rewatch my content a lot, but वो मैं रात को नहीं करता, वो मैं कभी भी करता हूँ, कोई पैटर्न नहीं है. I rewatch my content a lot, and the maximum time I spend is on reading the comments, because that's something I really enjoy. If you will go and see any of my socials, you'll see I'm interacting with as many comments as I humanly can, and that's something I really enjoy, and it also helps me evolve as a creator. Feedback. तो उसमें बड़ा मजा आता है, and I keep doing that all day. So that is something I'm kind of borderline obsessed with. Reading comments, responding to them. That's something that I keep doing.
Your wife also gets featured in a lot of, you make content with her. She's not a creator. I think she's,
Absolutely not.
what does she do?
So she is like clay, मतलब वो mold हो जाती है. There was a time when she was managing my business. Then there's been times when she's been into sales. There's been times when she's been into marketing. Right now she's into HR. So she keeps doing different things, keeps experimenting. So she's not a creator.
She's not a
She's
creator,
not
but
a-
she also makes a few reels with
Yeah,
you.
because it all started off when I just there was an idea. I think it was way back during lockdown or something, like not lockdown but COVID era ke time pe. And there was an idea I really wanted to do, and I couldn't find any female creator who was willing to collaborate at that time. And that's when I told her, because at that time we were best friends, my wife and I. So I told her, "Yaar, tu kar de." So she was very camera shy and all of that, but being the best friend that she is, being the nice person that she is, she said, "ठीक है, मैं कर लूँगी." And then we did it, and people loved it. And then we created a lot of content together. Off late, I think she's featuring less, and I'm getting a lot of feedback that I need to feature her more. So I think I'm going to work towards that.
Since we all noticed that.
Yeah, so I think I need to work on that very fast.
But how do you convince her for this? Because someone who's not a creator or a person on social media, it is difficult. I I get a lot. I sit and interview people. I sit and chit chat, and I can do that. That's my comfort zone, and I have a lot of reels regarding that. But the moment my team asked me to get featured in one reel, it takes them the entire week to convince me.
I know what you're saying. Fortunately for me, after the initial hesitation, I've never really had to push her, because she knows what it means to me. She just does it for me. And that's, I think, the perk of being married to your best friend. Like, उसको भी मुझे काफ़ी चीज़ों के लिए बोलना नहीं पड़ता, और मुझे उसको काफ़ी चीज़ों के लिए बोलना नहीं पड़ता. Where there is, and now, actually, honestly speaking, I think now she started enjoying it. उसको भी मजा आ रहा है. सब कमेंट्स में लिख रहे हैं कि कृति दीदी, you stole the show. कृति, you are better than Anmol. And हम लोग उसमें fun banter होता है हमारा, and she enjoys that. So I think for me, I'm very blessed that I don't have to convince her. It's happening smoothly.
Okay. Before we end this conversation, Anmol, I would want to say, do you think that if you have to do it from the beginning again, if there's a reset button now, will you be able to do it? And if yes, what's one thing you would want to change in your career?
Interesting question. So if there's a reset button, would I be able to do it? Yes. Would I want to do it? Yes. What's one thing I would do differently? That's a tricky one. I really don't know. Yeah. It's a very interesting question. What would I do differently? I would maybe experiment with more genres of content earlier. I've off late started experimenting with Get Ready with Me's and vlogs, etc. I would experiment more. I would also learn to remember that not everyone you meet has the best interests in mind for you. That's a truth I learned the hard way. Then another thing that I would keep in mind if I was starting again was that that's something I learned a little later on in my journey, that don't be demotivated with very few views. I say this often to my audience. There are people who want to be content creators. जब 100-200 व्यू आते हैं, लोग बोलते हैं बस 100-200 ही आए, आपके तो मतलब 5 लाख मिलियन आ रहे हैं, या किसी और क्रिएटर के 5 मिलियन आ रहे हैं. So I always tell them that about a couple of years in my journey, someone told me this, and it stayed with me, that imagine a room with 100 people wanting to listen to you. Is that a small number? 100 people sitting in front of you, paying attention, wanting to hear what you have to say or what you want to convey to them. 100 is not a small number, 50 is not a small number, 20 is not a small number. And if you keep at it, those 100 will become 200 and those 200 will become 2000 and so on. So that perspective shift came very late in my creator journey, and if I had to do it all over again, I would drill that into my mind from the very beginning. That would help me be even more motivated and even more consistent with what I was doing, and that would in turn lead to more productivity and more numbers and a faster growth chart. But 100% I would do it again because I absolutely love this and this is my passion.
While we're comparing now and then,
Hmm.
I also have one question which I want to ask. What's the definition of success
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
and what was then? Has it changed or how's
Yeah.
it?
So as I said about the views, so success tabhi when I started off was views, validation. That was success. Now, uh, success is more about uh, spreading smiles, having peace while doing it, paying off my bills, and being able to do this. So if I can do this consistently uh, without worrying about uh, paying my bills, have peace of mind, and I can keep spreading smiles. The reason why I started this, if I can continue doing it, that's success to me. Pehle it was views and validation. So that's how it's changed for me
And what's next for you? Where are we seeing Anmol?
now. Hopefully in some
Movie?
movie, some show, somewhere where I get to show the acting side of me. That's definitely something that I want happens. So I'm manifesting that. And apart from that, you all are seeing me create long form again on YouTube because that's something I had stopped. So there's a plan to get back with long form content. And of course, all over social media on shorts, on Snapchat, on Reels. That's never going to stop. So yeah,
Okay. Thank you, Anmol. Thank you so much. I'm. I had a great time talking to you because we just didn't talk about all things fun, but we got into a deep
yes, we
conversation, and
did.
it's always a refreshing for me to hear creators' thought because I feel a lot perception people have about creators
Mm.
is that they just dance in front of reels or they just make
Exactly.
fun content. There's nothing more than that, and that's what I would like to break from these kind of conversations that there is more to a creator. They know their shit well.
No, I'm so glad that I got this platform to share things that a lot of people would have not known about me otherwise. And uh, thank you for being such a good listener because I know I went on and on and
No,
on.
no, that I this is my favorite part of the day when I
Yeah.
sit and just listen because this also opens my horizon of things I also like, and I like doing this. Like we spoke about content, but
Yeah.
I'm open to listen to anything that
Yeah.
you want to share.
So we'll be doing another one very soon, and we'll talk about other things as well.
Yes,
But thank you for having me, and thank you for being such a good listener.
always. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for watching me on Social Catch Up. Do like, share, and subscribe.